Okay, excellent. So I'm just getting set up here, waiting for a couple minutes or a minute. Um, so I have YouTube Live and Instagram Live. So we'll just wait a minute for people to log on if they're not already here. So for anyone who is listening, I'm going to do today's class sitting on a chair, on a stool. You can be on the floor if you've done this before and you know what to do. But just, I'm feeling that a little bit more chair sequencing might be fun today. So we'll just kind of wait for that. We'll let everyone be entertained by Belle, if you can see her back here, taking a little nap. All right, let's see here. I might move this back a little bit. Whoa. Okay. All right, yeah, so I have this stool. It's a gyrokinesis stool, but you can use anything that's kind of like that. It's probably better if your hips are a little bit higher than your knees, if you're using a chair or a seat. If you have to use a dining chair or something with a back on it, that's okay. But sometimes the arm span might be in the way a little bit, but that's fine. I've also discovered with clients that a piano stool, like for playing any kind of instrument, doesn't matter what it is, even for the stool that comes with a keyboard stand, that's really good. Or just a regular stool. Sometimes even IKEA has them and they're really nice. If anybody's interested in looking for something that would work for things like this when you're moving and sitting on a chair. So you wouldn't have a back on it. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna get started sitting in the stool, sitting, on a chair, whatever it is you have, and we'll just sort of go from there. Of course, if you want to just sit on the floor and follow along, that's fine too. We're gonna do a little bit of a gathering, organizing, and alignment exercise here. So we're gonna come back and have a seat. So the whole idea here is to find your sits bones. I just want to adjust this a little bit. Yeah, maybe that's better. So we're going to have a seat and find our sits bones with the feet out here. So with your feet a little bit forward, it brings the weight down into the base of your spine, the release into your lumbar. You're a little bit more aware of that, releasing down through the low back, through the tail. And we start to feel the sits bones more prominent because we're actually balancing on them. So sometimes, we can, and, rightfully so, our legs can help gather and compensate a little bit for any imbalance we might have in our low back and hips. So we want to try to reorganize from the base of the spine and pelvis without the legs interfering so much. So we'll just let the feet come out. It doesn't have to be really far away, whatever's comfortable. And just take your palms resting on your thighs and brush them down from your hips to your knees, just a little bit. While you're doing that, try to relax into the low back, release in through the tail end of your spine. So when I think of my tail, so we have the sacroiliac at the bottom of the spine, and then we have the coccyx bone and the tippy tail end. I consider that whole piece the tail end of the spine. If we think viscerally in releasing through that whole connective piece starting at the top of the sacrum, there's a little bit more of a flow through. It's a little bit more clear. If you just think of your tippy tail end letting go, you could still hold tension in your low back. So feel the weight and gravity from the top of the sacrum down through the tail, relaxing your palms on your thighs and relaxing your shoulders. So we're just going to let the eyes close and let the breath, we're going to become aware of the breath and let the breath drop down into the base of the spine, into the base of the pelvis. So you're just taking some deeper kind of release sigh breaths here. Just letting go of any tension you feel and start to feel a sense of plumb lining through the bones in your body. Try to let go of any muscular tension or tightness if you become aware of it with your breath. Also feeling that the jaw and the chin let go a little bit and they drop in and back maybe. You don't have to hold it, but just let it go and see how it drops back a little bit. Breathing through that release through the back of the neck, the tops of the shoulders, and especially through your shoulder blades, your scapula, feeling that the scapula are heavy and they draw down all the way into your sits bones. So we feel that nice sort of waterfall release all the way down our back, through the shoulders, through the jaw and chin, becoming a little bit more aware of the plumb line of the spine from the tail end to the crown. We're not trying to engage anything. We just want to notice and look for a sensation of connection or awareness. And it just feels like it's resting in that plumb line through gravity. We're going to start to bring our thoughts and our focus internally, letting go of any external thoughts or tensions. Try to notice and send your breath inside your body where you want it to go. So we know that we breathe through the respiratory system, but we can use our breath, sending it in different places of the body to have an effect of releasing and opening tension, letting go, letting some stress release, even if you didn't know it was there. And we're going to try to help that along a little bit more. This time we're going to take the hands together, start to glide them forward and back. Now opening your eyes just a little bit, we're going to slide forward and back through the palms, feeling a sense of release in the hands. Feel that your breath comes up into the surface of your hands, and we're moving the breath forward and back. We're getting a little bit more of a vigorous engagement through the breath here. We create a little bit of heat there. Even though most of us don't need heat today, think of it that you're drawing heat out. You're releasing the heat out. And then we're going to separate the hands, becoming aware of the energy that buzz between our palms. So that's our breath. We're going to let the breath push our palms out. And we're just using this very, very soft and released and open. This is just whatever moves you. We want to feel a sense of moving, like you're yawning and exploring the space around you. You don't have to copy what I'm doing. Feel you're looking for a connection from inside your body that moves you through the outside. So feeling that you can breathe and use your breath to move through the spine, through the arms, and you can feel a sense of release externally, a sense of yawning into these tiny little crevices, maybe especially around through the lower back ribs here. I particularly like to think I'm breathing through the back of my body to move through this part, and just sort of exploring all of the space you have to expand through. So feeling that space up above, down below, around the sides and behind you. And then we're going to reach out with our palms, gathering energy from the space outside through the hands, drawing that from around us and just taking that over our eyes, just sort of hovering and breathing into that, and then washing over the face around the eyes, just letting the breath wash over your face. So we want to feel a sense of calmness and release and let go come through the face, from the center of the face, around and out. And then we're going to do a little bit more carving and poking in there. We're using our middle fingers. We're using a nice exhale. You're going to press on your brow bones from the inside, up and over the tops of the eyes, along the bone, with a little bit of a lift up into the hairline as you exhale. So we're going to breathe out. Try to keep your face very relaxed here, so that you're just continuously receiving the opening and sense of calmness that flushes through the face. So we're just letting things open from the center outward, just like we'll do throughout the spine here. Breathing out and just getting a nice flush through with a nice little lift up into the hairline. Now let's take our index finger, bending a little bit. We're going to go under the eyes, again along the bone. So we want to flush along the orbital bone under the eyes, not the soft, mushy, sensitive part in your eye socket. So we're flushing along, around, and up. Again, it's a nice little U shape there. From the center, breathing out. You get a nice flush through your sinus cavities here, releasing and breathing through. Again, try to relax your face as you breathe through your hands. So the breath is traveling through where we touch on our bodies. And then we'll take our fingertips into the forehead, very light here. You're scrubbing your skin up and down, moving the skin on the forehead and getting any kind of stuck fluid, lymph to move under the skin as you release your breath. Just kind of moving all around. And then eventually coming around to the outside of the eyes. Now we're on the temples, but we want to go light again, very light. So very soft, light, surfacey circles here, not poking in at all, just a little movement there, and then continue to travel down. Now our fingertips, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to palpate and poke a lot. Relax your jaw. We're going in between the upper and lower jaw, and just really digging around and releasing any little bits of tension or tightness. Let your breath release through that area. And really you can explore. So sometimes it's a little higher, sometimes maybe back towards your ears a little bit more. And you might not even be aware of it until this moment, right? So sometimes there's one side much more tight than the other. And just breathe through any little place that feels stuck. And then we're going to take our fingertips into the scalp above our ears. So we're doing this lifting, scrubbing kind of motion upward. And we're going around the back of the ears into the head, towards the crown, but towards the back of the head. So we're lifting the energy and tension up away from the ears. So breathing through that. And once we've gotten all the way around to the back of the head, right at the bottom of our head into our neck, right? So we have the occipital zone there. There's a nice little crevice. You might feel it very prominently, you might not. So some people have this a little bit more kind of flattened out. You're going to take a lateral massage side to side into that crevice. So feeling as you massage from the spine in an outward motion towards your ears a little bit, feel that you release and feel a sense of length and lightness come through there. So we're using this to free up a sense of length through the spine, going out towards the ears, breathing into it, and then coming back in close to the spine. So now we're on the muscles that are along the sides of the spine. We're going to go down where the erectors are. Now we do a circular massage, and it's really kind of deeper. So you can rest into it. You might feel that your muscles are more tense, and you can a little bit play around with releasing your jaw and your chin to kind of help that soften up. But again, we want to release this to help us feel longer and more open and taller, so that it doesn't feel like such an effort to get length through the spine. We're working our way down the back of the neck until we've reached the tops of the shoulders. And of course, now we're going to dig our fingertips over top of the shoulders. Take a nice dig and sweep over top. Exhale, sweeping around and through and shaking out off your palms here. So we're going to go back again. Take a nice exhale, sweeping away any tension or tightness and shaking it off. And again, exhale. Feel your shoulders relax and let go and shake it off. And now from here, we're going to interlace the fingers, turn the palms forward, feel a sense of breath from down low in the pelvis. We're going to feel that internal breath lift us up nice and tall. It doesn't have to be exactly how I am. So feel it inside your body. Find it for yourself. Find the connection that you feel to lengthen yourself upward from the base. So you're finding those roots here. Feeling that the roots really support you to open through the top, all the way up through the arms, and just kind of wiggling and swaying, feeling that you're lifting a little bit more from one side to the other off of the hip, sort of unplugging from the tail end of your spine, and then come back through center, Relax the tail, let it sweep under, let the arms drape down with that. So we've got the tail and the head doing the same thing. Now, while we're here, relax your shoulders and just do a little kind of swaying motion, a little cradle. My palms are still turned forward. We're gonna sway around to the side, find your elbow like a little window to breathe through the ribs. We're making a circle around our body through the side. Exhale, over. Let your tail sweep a little under as you come down and around. We're going to inhale as we come through and up. We go up over the sits bones and exhale, hang. So my elbows are really relaxed and wide at the top. I want to find that release through the scapula, the shoulder blades. Up here, we want our shoulder blades to move around the back ribs and breathe and massage. We want scapula mobility here, moving around the back of the ribs to open up everything and help engage a little bit more evenly and balanced, letting the breath support us. Inhale up and exhale, breathing into the ribs, in between the ribs, letting the breath in to come up through the top again. Taking a little pause up here and changing, exhale, over and around, finding that soft tail. Inhale through the elbow, between the ribs, up and exhale, and forward, around, finding your elbow to breathe through the side ribs and up, and exhale, over and forward, around. So you just feel a nice massage come through around the joints. Now find that internal midline center breath lifting you up from inside. Doesn't matter how high your arms are, feel that connection lift you. Separate the arms. We're going to circle the wrists. Breathe through the palms, opening the fingers, and feel that sense of suspending upward through the spine as you float the arms down, with a nice little kind of hang off the shoulder blades, just hanging the chest open from the shoulder blades, relaxed into your back, and just feeling that. That's an open chest. And then just relaxing out of that a little bit. So we just find that and release. Now from here, we're going to bring the feet a little bit more forward, more than I said before, and round your back. Now we're going to go through our drumming kind of qigong stuff. We're going to take our fists nice and loose, nice little rounded back, and drum and breathe right into your sacrum. Taking a nice release. You can, again, look for any tension type spots you might feel. You can go right on top of the sacroiliac joints all around. So especially the glutes here, right? So that posterior hip area, which is pretty big, around to the sides even. You're just letting things release, going down a little bit, going up a little bit, and then eventually going right up the sides of your spine as high as you're comfortable with. If you can get towards your kidneys, wonderful. And then working back down, letting your hands bounce off your body, sending breath in there. And then we're going to just take our hands and bounce off the back sides of the hips. So I'm a little bit more into that side hip area. This is where our greater trochanter is, where the femur bone inserts into the socket of our hip through the side. It's a lateral engagement there. So we want to just kind of loosen things up that are holding on around this area so the joint internally can work a little bit better without maybe stuff holding on here. And then we're going to go from the back, one side, and then the other side. Now it's more of a release from the back of the head, flushing any tension and tightness down and out through the leg, out through the feet, and just feeling a sense of letting go from the back side of the hip and away. And then we're going to slightly open the palm. We're using a loose hand, heels of the hands, and we're fluffing along the sides of the legs. So I kind of turned my legs, might look like I'm a little bit more inward. So if that feels comfortable for you, you don't have to make it happen if it's uncomfortable. And just let go of the muscles, get a nice fluffy, loose feeling here. We want a lot of shaking going on. We want everything to kind of shake off the bone, release. We're going down those IT band lines and getting a nice kind of scoop and lift off of the off of the femur bone there, kind of flushing things through. And then we're ending up on the lower part of the quads here above our knees, where our quadriceps attach into the knee is above the knee. We're just going to do little tapping around. Go sort of all around over top there, getting around the whole shape of your legs. And then now we're going to do our fingertip tapping right into the kneecaps, the patella bone. So we want to feel the vibration here. We want to feel that vibration travel into the joint, stimulating our nerves and thus stimulating our muscles, right? So our body recognizes vibration as we walk and drop down into our heels, into our feet. Vibration is very, very powerful for biomechanics, more than I ever thought it was. So I'm fascinated by that. And now when we go a little bit lower below the knee, if you're sitting, you might get a little bit of a little jump there. So, and maybe not. So then we're going to travel down the shin bones, breathing and tapping all the way to the ankles, letting the breath travel through the fingers up the shins again, breathing into that. And now we're going through the quads. We take the heels of our hands again, and we do a nice long flush from the hips all the way down to the knees, relaxing and breathing and lengthening. So we have this nice, long, thick femur bone, and we're flushing the muscles around and through the femur bone. We're going in the direction of our circulation, away from the heart, breathing out. And you might feel sort of some lumpiness here because our muscles cross over. A lot of people think it might be some other things, but it's really important tissue that's working there. And then we're going to come around down into our calves and just kind of, if you're comfortable with holding your foot up and doing a little bit of a flexed foot, kind of relaxed, take your hands and go from either side and just dropping down into your calves, into your Achilles on both sides of the leg. If that's too much, you can rest your heel on your leg. So whatever you're most comfortable, even if it's just a little stool in front of you, and that's fine too, whatever you can get. And then just kind of loosening that up a bit more until you feel like that's a little bit more let go. Again, another surprisingly tense or tight area. We're going to let this foot come down, change the other side, finding that. We want a little bit of a shake there, breathing out, finding that release. You can sort of engage through your heel or a little bit more or a little bit less. You can sort of play around a bit and see what feels better for you. And then just relaxing. So now from here, we're just going to do kind of, we're going to lean back, lean into your palms, and just do kind of a little shake out through the knees here. And then, so we're just kind of feeling the length of our legs. Now, when we're sitting on a chair, we want to be careful about not falling off of the chair, of course, right? So one hand, I'm going to use my front hand first. This hand's going to turn and turn out. So the fingertips reach behind, so I rotate my shoulder back. The heel of my hand is down. So now I'm going to bring the arm that's going to go up and yawn, I'm going to push down, do a little arch over my tail and flex that front heel. So I'm going to inhale, think of that long internal center line right through your body. And that's what's giving your support to stretch through. Relax, soften, and change. Use your other palm. Now the hand behind you, you shouldn't be resting all of your weight there. We want to feel a lifting inside. The palm is just there for a little bit of an extra opening of the chest over the tail. My arm is just hanging from the shoulder blade open, nice and loose. Relax and change. So we're going to inhale, go up and over. And exhale, release. This is more of a true yawning. Find that internal center line up. And release and change. And again, breath comes in. And release. And again, breath brings you up. And release. Now from here, we're going to bring the feet forward and rotate the legs inward a little bit. When you rotate your legs in, think of your hip sockets rolling a little bit internally, right? So we have an introverted spiraling feel. We're going to hang our body over, hang your head over. You might need to adjust your feet, and we're just going to let the head go. And even if it's just your head, you might not be that far over. It might just be up here with your head. Whatever feels relaxed for you, if you can let go in your hips into your back, we're just going to find this release hanging over, let the breath go, and let your head go with your breath just a little bit more. We're going to exhale through the nose and gently drop the head. You can feel your hands. If you need to rest onto your lap, you can do that. So you're just finding a little bit more release, dropping through the head, and then just feeling that let go into your lower back ribs, your waist area. Feeling that the neck maybe gets a little bit more released. And then just hang there. Don't bob up and down, but just hang. We want to find a nice draw down through the tail end of the spine. The tail goes down through the floor to help roll us up until we've come all the way up onto our sits bones. And then we're going to bring the feet back in. So now from here, we're going to lift the ribs up a little bit. So we're going to take a nice massage around the sides of the ribs, breathing and inhaling. Feel the chest cavity expand with your breath. Inhale. And exhale, release. And again, we're flushing all the lymph here. Inhale. So when we inhale, all these lateral chest muscles engage. And as we exhale, it's more vertical down through our diaphragm. We're going to come down into the front of the hips here, into this groin area where we have more lymph. And we're just going to massage and open that up a little bit more, just checking things out. And then come up into the center of the chest. So here into our breastplate, our sternum, down into the lower ribs. So you can feel where your ribs start to separate, right? So we have the xiphoid process and we have our solar plexus, real sensitive in there. Right above that, in the center, we're just going to do a little scrubbing up and down, a little exhale, a little sighing, letting go here, and just feeling that we let go of any tension that's holding on there. Surprisingly, there's usually more than you think. And then we'll take this into nice long strokes from the ribs down into the pelvis and getting underneath the sides of the ribs. So underneath into the waist, under that side bottom rib, and then around underneath the other side bottom rib. Again, becoming more aware, waking all this stuff up to feel our body, right? So we want to be able to feel very naturally and become aware of our body, to feel a connection in our body. And then just relaxing the arms and hanging down here. So now from here, we're going to take a deep breath in and float the arms around and up. We're getting like you're filling up like a balloon with air. So we're going to inhale and float up and expand. Feel how your breath expands and floats your arms up without any effort. We're just going to let go, exhale, just let it go. Let them come down. Let's try that again. The breath comes from your pelvis. Feel that it doesn't come from your pelvis, but we're thinking that it does. We're going to let the breath come from the pelvis. So we feel it trickle through and up and up and up. And then we release. Now we're going to let it go and drop. Drop the arms. And then let the spine go. So now again, breath. Now let your arms come through like you're taking off a shirt. The breath comes in. You can feel a sense of decompressing and lengthening and elongating. Let your arms go. One more time, breath comes in. So even with your breath, if your lower back is feeling a little uncomfortable, try to practice just lifting your chest up a little bit, right? So sometimes this area, we think, oh, we have to stretch our back, but usually this is pushing down into the pelvis. So we want to elongate through the thoracic spine and take the weight off of the pelvis, right? So now from here, we're just going to relax and shake everything out, relaxing through the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, the head. Feel that your breath releases down all the way through the hands, the fingertips. letting everything move around. And then from here, we're going to interlace the fingers and just kind of do a little compression, release, mushing around. We want to feel a sense of breath between the palms. Check out your shoulders. Try to notice if they're wanting to tense up or help you here. Breathe into that. You can shear a little bit forward and back with the palms. And then relax your palms together. Relax your wrists. Try to keep your shoulders relaxed as you exhale and find momentum to release. Gliding the wrists around. So you just want to let go. You don't have to make this move fast, right? This isn't muscular. This is just releasing through momentum. I mean, the muscles are working, but we're not leading with them. Then we're going to reverse this. We're going to go the opposite direction your brain didn't choose. And we're going to find that release here. Find just as much effortless let go by letting go of your breath. As your breath releases, you feel more connected into that plumb line of letting go. And then it starts to move faster probably. And then just peeling the hands apart, we're going to open and close, feeling that the palms breathe open through the fingertips and that we're not pulling more tension in from the fingertips here. So now we're going to do that balloon breath again, filling our body up with air. So let the breath come from the pelvis, let the breath come in to expand. Now we're going to take a squeezing long exhale. We're going to squeeze and clench fingertips, toes, eyes, and pelvis. Squeeze the breath out. Keep exhaling, exhaling, exhaling. You're emptying the breath out as much as you can. Keep squeezing, squeezing, compressing, getting rid of anything you don't need anymore in the body. Keep breathing out, breathing out, breathing out until you don't have any more breath left. Let the breath in expand. Feeling that sense of openness and lightness from the pelvis in both directions, up and down. We're going to exhale, compress, and squeeze it out. We're going to squeeze through all these distal points, the fingertips, the toes, the eyes. We're squeezing out anything negative, physical, emotional, making space for new things to come in. Keep breathing out, breathing out, breathing out, breathing out until you don't have any more breath left. And let the breath in. Feel the breath expand your body. We're going to do one more long exhale, getting the heat out, squeezing it out with the breath. Letting the breath in. On this last one, we're going to exhale, but this time we're gathering that light new energy through the fingertips, through the toes, drawing that in through the meridians into our center. So we have more of an open sense with this gathering breath, enveloping it into our center. And then just release, shake off anything that was holding on. We're going to come back into the very high neck here, the occipital zone. This time, interlace your fingers and let your head rest into your palms. Let your elbows adjust wherever you feel comfortable. We eventually want to keep them more open, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Feel the breath through the back of your head into your hands like a magnet. We want to feel that sense. You can even let your eyes close a little bit, especially when you're trying to start finding this for the first time. It's maybe too much to have your eyes open. Eventually we want the energy to come out through the eyes. But we're feeling a sense of that part of the body. Breathe and expand up into the hands. Again, feeling a sense of length that maybe you didn't know was there. And also with our hands up and our arms up here, we don't have the weight of the shoulders pressing and pulling down through the neck into the head. So there's a little bit more freedom and length up here. We have, again, that lift in our chest above our pelvis. We're going to breathe into the palms, sweep your palms up, feel that sense of length, continue until your hands release up, around, and down on the sides here, relaxing and hanging. Now, we're going to use the breath through the midline, through the spine, and out through the eyes, using our eyes first. We're going to just look around the room, You're just scanning the room. If you don't want your arms to hang, you can rest them on your thighs. So you're just looking and scanning around the room till you see the side, and then take another breath release, a quiet breath as you scan and look around the space to the other side. So you're looking at everything very gently and openly, just kind of seeing it for the first time, noticing details. Let your breath release and scan around the other way. This time, imagine your vision expands beyond the space you're in. So your vision goes out a little bit longer, but still feeling a sense of your internal connection to try to balance what you feel inside to the outside. And then again, breathing, feeling that sense of openness through your vision. You're looking out onto a horizon, feeling that it's nice and wide and colorful, but very, very, very relaxed here, soothing. And then let the breath bring you back through center. Now on center, we're going to take a deep breath in. Everything here is quiet from the throat down pretty much. Feel that inside breath. We're going to gather it in and up, and we're going to clench our eyes as we pull the breath up. So we're going to inhale. Hold it there. Try not to let the shoulders get involved. And as you exhale, let the eyes gently open. Feeling that sense of connection, you can just lightly blink your eyes and sweep with your palms, just sweeping away anything clouding your vision around the face and eyes, letting your breath go, and then taking our fingertips into the head, doing those little taps again. So we want to feel the vibration all throughout the skull, tapping around, breathing into it. And then a very light sweeping up through the back of the neck into the head, just feeling that long energy again and letting that come through. Now from here, so the very top of our spine, we're just going to do a little turning and just feel that your breath guides this. Another momentum release type thing. So we're just going to breathe and go side to side. You can spot with your eyes. And if you feel comfortable letting go, let your jaw go, let your breath go. And just breathe out and feel a release there. Don't go too aggressive. Feel your body. As you're slowing down, let it slow down very gradually, right? So this might not be appropriate for everybody. Slow down gradually until you feel comfortable stopping. If you stop right away, you might get a little dizzy. So now from here, we're going to come around and up on, we're going to use our chair, but we're going to use it to lean on with our hands here. So we have our feet here. Let's actually take a moment. We're going to gently bend our knees. We'll step back just a teeny tad. Now, when we bend our knees, we're able to articulate the pelvis from the legs, right? So we want to articulate the length of the spine from the length of the legs. They're all connected, but we want to feel that the joints are a little bit more prevalent in creating space. So from here, we're going to just gently bend the knees, come down into your forearms, and feel that your sits bones are breathing backwards and wide. So we want to feel a sense of opening and expanding through the sits bones. Think of your very high hamstring area, where the hamstring muscles attach into our sitting bones. That area is expanding with your breath. So you might feel that you can lengthen your legs a little bit more or not. So we want to feel a sense, find that on your own body. If you feel that you can hang and lengthen through the knees more to get a little more contrast, shift your tail back over your heels. You can even do little pulses where you breathe out and shift and then come forward a little bit. So you're just coaxing and breathe and exhale as you shift your tail back so that you let everything release gently so that you're not holding tension to release tension, right? So that's counterproductive. The movement and this sort of oscillating sensation in the body is very soothing. We want to sort of rock ourselves into opening. And then from here, we're just going to feel the tail drop back over the heels and let your body hang. You can let your head drop a little bit. I'm still using the chair, but I want to release in the shoulder blades a bit. Now from here, just your belly, the upper abdomen is going to breathe up to the ceiling. You're going to lift that belly where your actual stomach is. That's going to help you lift your body so you can come onto your hands. You're going to step forward towards the seat. And then from here, use your palms into the chair. You can either push straight down with fingertips up and down forward, or you can turn out a little bit with your fingertips hanging off the sides here. Whatever it is, we're going to check our shoulders out and make sure they're not lifted up by the ears. Just draw them down a little bit, not too much. Now from here, we're going to practice using the abdomen to roll through the spine. We're going to let the breath go and let the belly go. So you exhale, let your belly hang. Your back changes a little bit. Now the belly initiates with our breathing. We're going to inhale, lift the belly up to the ceiling. The upper abdomen, where the stomach is, starts first. We lift. We're going to let this round our back and round our tail. So the two ends of the spine are curling by the midsection lifting. So we're breathing in and up. You can push with your palms a little bit to stretch your back. Then we're going to let that release a little. Let your knees bend this time and find your tail and find your chest and your shoulder blades draw down. So we do an arch, right? So we're extending the spine. Now the belly lifts. Inhale. Everything lengthens. The legs lengthen because we're lifting out of the legs. We're lifting out of the shoulders. There's pretty much barely any pressure into my palms. And if you push a little bit downward through the heels of your hands, you get a nice little extra expansion through the upper back between your shoulder blades. Now we let the breath release, let the knees bend, and we're going to just let the belly a little bit go, not pull down to the floor. Let it soften so that you can find the articulation in your sits bones and your chest, your shoulder blades glide down. Now belly lifts again. We're going to inhale, lift up. The belly changes your position. We initiate through the abdomen, so we're breathing and expanding through the back around the vertebrae. Then just deepen that breath. You can exhale as you deepen it, slightly contrasting through the palms to breathe into your upper back ribs. Little softening in the knees, a light letting go of the abdomen so you feel some gravity. We want to use gravity through the bones, but feel long, elongating through the sits bones and tail. And once you elongate through your tail, your chest can come through more gently. Then we're going to relax. Now this time when we relax, we're going to just hang over. We're stepping back. We're going to hang all the way down. If you need the chair still, you can use that. But we're just going to hang the body over the legs, breathing out and letting go, whatever that is for you. Now again, feel the abdomen lift you up to the ceiling. The abdomen lifts to the ceiling so you can breathe through the spine as you roll up. Your tail end is able to release down, so you're lifting the weight up off of your pelvis as you roll up. And then before you know it, you're all the way up standing, finding that sense of length in the front of the hips, feeling the chest nice and open, feeling that length down and out from the low back through the tail into the floor. So we want to feel a sense of length and openness by working with gravity, right? So we're not just trying to lift up and oppose it. That's too much work and you'll never win. So we're just going to we want to use that breath through the bones to draw down with gravity, because the muscles and all the connective tissue works us in and up. Now, we're standing, right? And hopefully we're standing a little bit more comfortably. So if your feet are not comfortable being really close together, you can separate them a little, but you want to feel that midline energy from your heels all the way up internally through the center of your body. That is where you're going to balance and breathe through. And we're going to just sort of take little pinpoints. I'm going to take this out of the way. So we want to feel that sense of connectivity energetically. And that connection should bring our feet more, we should be able to come in a little bit with our legs. If you take your hands onto the outside of your hip sockets, right? Not your waist, but down in the socket of your hips. And if you think about drawing the sits bones in together, try that. So we're going to inhale, draw the sits bones together. So you feel more narrow. Then we're going to let go. Maybe they relax apart more. Now you're going to draw them in together and push down through the heels and then just let it go. Now we're going to do that again. In together, push down through the feet, and you start to feel maybe your abdomen scoop in a little bit and then let go. So we're engaging through the pelvic floor. We're going to take our fingertips into the low belly. This is the dantian, the low abdomen. So we want to feel now a sipping through the mouth breath. We're going to sip the breath in and up along that center line. Imagine that your hands are here still, gathering the sits bones and pushing your feet down as you sip with your breath. So everything starts to coordinate in and up through that narrowing aspect, breathing and connecting inside. Find a release here first. Let the soles of your feet open wide. You can even, and check out your chest and your jaw and your chin. We're going to start to sip in and up from between the heels all the way through and up. Drawing that breath in and up, in and up, in and up. We're going to deepen it as we exhale, slightly bend the knees, but feel taller. Ever so slightly bending the knees, not even a real bend. And then just lengthen the legs again. Draw the breath, sip in and up through that imaginary line. Relaxing the shoulders. And exhale, deepening it, suspending it internally. So I'm going to reinforce that connection on the exhale. And then again, sip in and up, gather it. Feeling the down energy to breathe in and up, a nice loop. And exhale. One more time, sipping in and up. And exhale. We're going to let the arms hang, find the breath drawing up, and float your arms around and up. Now the arms are out, but we still have to find that internal connectivity. Exhale, releasing a little bit through knees and elbows forward, around and down. We just float the arms down to hang. The breath floats us up again. Relaxing the shoulders, letting the shoulder blades glide down the back. And exhale. So you're building this stronger sense of center throughout your whole body. And again, sip in and up. Make sure that imaginary line right through the center of your body is stronger, especially on the exhale. And relax. We're going to let the breath in, shrug the shoulders up, lift the chest up. We exhale, release. And again, shrug in and up. You can clench. Lift the chest up off your hips while you're standing and let go. One more time. Breath comes in. You still have that sense of center and release. Now practice walking out, feeling a sense of that gravity. It's nice and soft and released through the joints here. And just letting your weight shift and move around. Just sort of a light version of connecting and feeling nice and open. Excellent. So thank you very much for joining, everyone. Any questions or comments, please let me know. Any special requests, please let me know. And I will see you again next week, same time, same place. All right, thank you. Bye.